Hello and welcome. I'm Adriana. I'm a soul communicator and growth mentor. This reading today is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I will also be creating an extended version to go a little deeper into whatever comes up in your reading, as well as go stronger into the soul message, your soul's message for this reading. But in the meantime, let's get started. Okay. Energy for you. Okay, nice. Ace of Wands, inspiration. This is where you are beginning this week. So a lot of good, it feels like centered, but it kind of excited energy to get things going, to push things forward. This is a reminder that when you get that nudge from the divine, or you get that nudge from what you recognize as your internal guidance, you need to act on it in the moment. You know, this is the card that says don't wait, just jump in there and get this going. So no holding back. Energy needs to be flowing forward for you. Okay, I think I also want to look at a little bit your environment, what's going on in your environment. Okay, I'm getting 2 cards for that one. Father of Roots and 10 of Roots. Really good. Father of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. So again, that environment feels stable. This also feels like an interesting that we're starting something, that you've gotten to a stage of like, okay, we're kind of done here. We've culminated. We've finally gotten to where we want to go. And some of this will be a spiritual plateau for a lot of you. It might be like a physical thing, like the end of a project, or the end, like a clear marker. But more than that, I'm feeling like this is a spiritual marker of, okay, you've arrived at a certain place. And you're really happy about the fact that you've arrived at a certain place. But there's something coming in from the divine to get you moving again. Okay, so yes, enjoy everything you've accomplished. This has been also a transformative journey for a lot of you. I was just drawn to that butterfly on this card. This is such a beautiful card. It's one of my favorites in this deck. But the transformation that you have been going through has finally reached a place where you can really reap the benefits. So you have all this wonderful, supportive energy around you, things going well. But the message that's coming through is, don't rest on your laurels. When that spark comes in and hits you and says, okay, now we've got to go off in this direction, just follow it and go with it. I think the other thing with this cards, we've talked about the positive aspects, but I'm also feeling my guides are drawing my attention to the rootedness of these cards, how grounded and how steady and stable they want to be in the earth. And because of what's going on here, the guides are trying to remind you not to get too planted where you are. Okay, this was a step along the way of the journey. This wasn't the destination, although it feels like a big thing has wrapped up. This wasn't the destination. You are to keep going, to keep moving. All right, let's look at some beneficial and challenging energy that you're dealing with at this time. I forgot to mention before, there really is no date on this reading, and so if you find this reading at any point and it's resonating with you, or you come back to this reading and find different things in it the second time around, we'll just trust that it is meant for you at the time it finds you. Okay. All right, challenge on the bottom, from the bottom of the deck. And beneficial. Interesting. That's an interesting message. We've got the Son of Horns as beneficial energy, and then we've got the Wheel of Fortune as the challenge. So what it feels like is, as fate or something bigger than you, as the divine is trying to move you forward, you may not really be understanding why or how or all of those little particular things. The spider web is such an interesting image here, how you can get tangled up in the spider web and how all the strings then start kind of sticking to you and sticking together, and you have this clump. So if you try to figure out too much of these details or you try to resist, you're literally going to get yourself stuck. And this Son of Horns is saying to you, go with the flow. Let's just get with the water, get this thing moving, and be willing to flow essentially with where you're being asked to go. I feel like this energy of fate or destiny, so I want to take a second here. I am in the personal belief, and every reader is different in this, that there is a combination of fate and free will for everyone. That there are things that are meant to happen to you, for you really, that your soul has kind of charted out before you came down here. But at the same time, it's up to you when you learn the lessons. It's up to you how you deal with your situations in front of you. So if something comes to you, it's still your free will how you're going to move through it. You can totally ignore all your lessons in this lifetime, and that's okay. There are consequences for that in the future. But when I say fate, I do mean something that has been predestined by you, by your soul, in a different dimension, in a different level. So I do feel like this Wheel of Fortune energy is going to be with you for a while. A lot of change, a lot of strands coming together that don't really seem to be the same, seem to be building the same thing. I'm also feeling like it's going to be easy to get stuck in strands that don't matter. It's going to be easy to get caught in maybe false strands. And I want to follow that a little further because that's a little nebulous for me here. What do you mean by false strands? Okay, that if you don't just allow things to be in their proper time and place and allow them to be moving forward in their proper time and place, in their own rhythm, if you try to push or force or you try to figure or tweak, that's when everything starts to stick together. So if you look at the image of this spider web, each one of these little pieces of string has its own space, and you can see gaps. And it's actually quite a beautiful piece of architecture. But if you start to pull on one string or another, then the whole thing kind of starts to twist and contort. So this is in your dealing with reality, really. So reminding yourself not to be too stuck or too rooted in where you find yourself feeling comfortable, and just allowing yourself to go with this new order of things, to go with the flow. My guides are saying that this Son of Horns for you is not a person or a guide, it's really a mentality. The idea that, okay, you might be feeling a little precarious, you might be in a position that seems a little compromised, but as long as you're trusting and going with the flow and allowing all these pieces to fall together, then you have really nothing to worry about. This journey for you is starting. It's already underway, okay? So listen to those urges, listen to the little signs and the symbols, look for the synchronicities, but also do not be discouraged if you don't see synchronicities and signs right away, okay? When we're going to a different reality, or a different version of reality, or a new stage of life, sometimes the guides actually kind of withhold information from us because they don't want us leaping to false conclusions. So it's kind of like when they film movies. We watch movies from beginning to end and we think of it as one narrative. But if you're actually an actor in the movie, they film all those scenes out of order. My favorite example of this is the BBC Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth. They actually filmed the scene of his first proposal where, I'm sorry, this is a spoiler, she ends up refusing him. They actually filmed that first because they needed to have the trajectory. They needed to know where they were going. So they wanted to have that kind of pinnacle done first before they filmed the rest of it, so that it did feel like a trajectory and they did know how to pace dramatically what was going on. So I feel like that's going to happen with you right now. You're going to get the scenes out of order. Nothing is going to seem like it's in a logical place until you're kind of 3/4 of the way through this process. So this takes a lot of trust from you and a lot of being willing to go against what feels natural and comfortable, which is kind of hold your ground, hold your place. Okay, Capricorn, I haven't even touched on it, but we need to go into what your soul is trying to teach you in the course of this reading. So I'm going to draw one card for here to give you a little taste, and then we're going to continue it deeper in the extended version. The link not just will be, the link is down in the description below. So let's see, soul's message, please. Okay, we've got the strength card and the discipline card, 2 8s. All right, there is definitely something bigger in here, but let's think about stay the course, okay? Just stay the course through this seemingly sticky situation. Stay the course. Okay, I will see you on the extended, and if not, I will look forward to seeing you next time. Again, the link is in the description below. Have an excellent day, Capricorn.